So, again, this has been very sporadic, but one more thing I want to say relating to communication before I stop this, because this is going on for way too long. This is almost an hour-long video, and I don't want that to happen, because this would be a really pain in the butt to upload to YouTube. So, one last thing I have to say about Vox. I haven't been on in there for a while, so I don't know how this has been, but I know the last time I was on, a lot of things like this were happening. Communication. It's never been that great on Vox. They might have improved it since then. Like I've said, haven't been on for a couple weeks to a month to a couple months. So it might have improved. But if it hasn't, it needs to. I'm talking about communication between the staff and the players, and I'm talking about communication between staff and staff, like owners and staff. I remember this one time where this change was implicated, and the staff, like helpers and admins and mods, had no idea. They didn't have any idea what was going on. They were just like, this just happened, and we have no idea what's going on. I don't remember specifically what happened, but I bet any of the staff will be able to confirm that this happened. They're like, oh yeah, that thing. That happened a lot. And they do the best they can, and I know everybody's trying really hard, but that's definitely something that I hope has improved. And if it hasn't, it needs to improve. Because I feel like that's where a lot of drama stems. I know what that's from. When the Emerald and Diamond servers linked up and bans were transferred over. That was a huge just screw up. And admins had no idea what was going on. They were like, oh crap, what happened? And everybody's yelling at them. It's like, we don't know. Leave us alone. I felt so bad for that happening. Oh, it was a nightmare. Oh boy. I just hope nothing of that degree and caliber ever happens again. It's so hot. I'm getting so hot right now. Oh, I'm going to start wrapping this up. But that's just one last thing I wanted to say. Communication can always improve. The more transparent you are with your server, the more people are going to feel comfortable around it. You don't have to tell them the technical lingo, mumbo jumbo. Just tell them what's going to happen and ask them if they're okay with it. Some things are mandatory changes. If there are bugs in the system and exploits occurring, let them know why you're doing it, why you're making such changes. Because there's been so many times where the change is implemented, but there's no explanation as to why. And people are left confused and sometimes rightfully frustrated and angry. So before you make the changes, give a couple of days heads up. You don't necessarily have to ask your community if it's okay for them to do it. You know, that it's ultimately up to the owners if they want to put in a change. But let people know in advance. Give a couple days in advance and say, hey, we got to change this. We're sorry if it causes any inconvenience, but it needs to be changed. I feel like that's a lot better than just like, oh, it's different. And if it's like a mandatory change where it's just like you discovered it, and if you don't change it, the whole server's going to spontaneously combust, tell them that day instead of waiting a couple days, because that's happened too. The whole Emerald Diamond syncing up ban thing, it took 3 or 4 days for any sort of official statement to be made. And it was bad. It was a train wreck. And I really hope nothing like that ever happens again on Vox. I really hope nothing like that occurs. So that's basically the last thing I gotta say. Communication is key in any community. You need to be open and honest with your community, and you need to let them know when things are happening.